Hi folks, welcome to another episode of Heartbeat and Horsepower. This time we've got the lovely Alice and her beautiful Kawasaki ZX6r. This is a 2005 ZX6r. Absolutely stunning machine, and I think we bumped into each other last week, didn't we, at the mega store here. And I was really interested in this bike and would love to cover it. So thankfully you've agreed to be on the show, which is really good. So folks, I'll tell you some basic specs of the standard version of this bike. So the ZX6R from 2005 makes about 112 horsepower. The weight is 195. So compared to modern or more newer 600s, it's a little bit on the heavy side. But I guess when you're riding, that doesn't make any difference whatsoever. The seat height is 125 millimeters, but Alice, you've had this lowered, haven't you?
Yeah, 40 mil.
Okay, so making about 785 millimeters on the seat height now. Fuel capacity is 18 litres, and the suspension, we've got Showa big piston forks on the front, and we've got Unitrack rear shock, all fully adjustable. So that's the standard version with the standard power settings, but this is far from standard, isn't it, Alice? So what has been done to this bike?
So it has been remapped by TBR, so it's now sort of hitting about 115 brake, so not too far from stock, but yeah, far enough that you can tell the difference.
A noticeable difference. And it's had a lot more done to it, so what other mods have been done?
So the list is very long, but from the top of my head, it's had, so it's got Black Widow 4:1 manifold, full Yoshimura exhaust, carbon rear seat cowl and front mudguard. It's got a quick action fuel cap. I can get up the rest of the list because it is a very long list.
A long list, yeah.
It's got pipe cross performance filter and the hot cams he got from America.
Oh wow.
Valve clearance has been done, titanium fairing bolt kit as well, so all of the bolts have been replaced, Renthal gold sprockets, DID gold racing chain, pyramid rear mudguard, which is quite close to the rear tyre, I will admit.
It is, yeah.
It is very close. ASV levers, hell braided lines, Renthal grips, it's had a lot done to it, so
brilliant.
It's a very clean bike, and he redid all of the paintwork and stuff as well, the previous owner, so it's...
And I guess that inspires you to want to look after it and want to take care of it as well, and so the actual power is about 115 horsepower then, and like I say, a long list of mods. I can relate to the Renthal race grips and the ASV levers. I run both of those as well. I absolutely love them. And I find that the Renthal race grips, because they're a little bit thinner than standard grips, right? Much more feel, much more control over the bike.
It's the first time I've had shorties as well, so I'm still getting used to that. I've got small hands, so it does actually work quite well.
So you prefer the shorty levers. And again, it's personal preference, isn't it? A lot of people prefer the standard size levers. I'm like you, I prefer the shorties, just 2-finger braking and clutch. So are you planning any other changes to the bike?
So I don't have anything in mind at the moment, just because it's really immaculate, and I don't want to sort of mess around with anything anything too much. But I think maybe in the future, because I do like I like my black bikes. I might maybe change the fairings to black, but other than that, and the grips maybe to black as well. But other than that, I think I'm so happy with it.
Because your previous bike was all black, wasn't it? That was a ZX6 as well. Tell us a little bit about your previous bike.
It was an 08, so it was a little bit of a newer one than this, but I do actually think I prefer this one, just for the shape of it, and the front end and the front headlights as well look a little bit meaner. My old one I did lower as well. There was just so much done to this bike. My one was completely stock compared to this. So it's a whole new ball game.
And why did you buy this bike, Alice?
So for a friend of a friend, I went to a bike meet down at Kemble in Cirencester, and he had this for sale. I wasn't planning on buying anything at the time, as it had only been a week after my crash. But he did sort of just say, just come over, have a look at it, see how you feel. And as soon as I sat on it, it was a bit home. So
yeah.
it just felt very much like me. So
yeah.
I did pop him a message the next day.
I don't blame you. I mean, to be honest, if I was in the market for a bike like this, it is really, really attractive. It just looks absolutely gorgeous. What's it like to ride then? What does it feel like?
It shocks me every time I get on it, to be quite honest.
Yeah.
It's very, it feels almost like a show bike. So because it's been remapped, it does make a lot of pops and bangs if you're in second and you give it a little bit and then close the throttle. It does have all the crackles and everything after it, and at night you can see the flames out the back, so it's a very showy bike. But,
makes you feel good, loads of smiles, right?
Yeah, it just makes me happy every time I get on it, so I can't complain.
Brilliant. And so you've had it about a week then, so is there anything that you're still sort of struggling to get used to with the bike compared to your last one?
I mean, because they were so similar, I'm not really, it just feels like my old bike, but in a different font, if that makes sense. I think the only thing, because with the off it was round corners, that I'm still sort of taking a breather with corners and taking them very slowly and just sort of getting used to leaning again and handling how the bike handles. Changing gears as well, because it's a little bit more torquey, as my bike before was quite slow off the mark. Okay. And this one's a little bit different, so it's just getting used to like the starting off the line and changing the gears and things like that. But it still feels very much like home.
and I can understand, you know, building the confidence again in the corners, because I saw the pictures of your crash, because we obviously both know the other person that was involved in that crash, and the pictures were horrendous. But thankfully, like you weren't hurt, were you? You know, maybe a bit of bruised pride, but you know, it could have been a lot worse. So thankfully you've come out of it, you know, in good shape. Yeah. So with a bike like this, Alice, because one thing that I want to try and challenge actually, because I get a lot of people asking me questions, what is an ideal bike for a newer rider, a rider with less experience, but particularly I often get questions from female riders or females wanting to get into riding bikes. And they'll ask me things like, what is a good bike for a 5'3" female? Yeah. Now, my response is always, the fact that you're female doesn't matter. The fact that you're 5'3" doesn't matter. It's, you know, there are only barriers if you want them to be barriers. Yeah. So what advice would you give to other women who want to get into bikes, but they think being a female or being short is a barrier?
It's definitely not a barrier. If anything, it's an advantage. I just think it will be the best decision you ever make. It's the bike community is one of the most welcoming, lovely, helpful communities I've ever been involved with. I've met all of my best friends through bikes. It's just something that brings a lot of people together. You feel part of something bigger. I would say height-wise, obviously I had this one lowered before I rode it away, just because I knew that I would be comfortable with it being lowered. So it's not an issue. If you need to get that done to a bike, you can have it done. It's not barrier in the slightest, and you can get bigger bikes that are lower than 125s. It's just completely what you're comfortable with. I'd say go and sit on a few and feel out how comfortable each one is, and just go for your preference. Make your own decisions and do what feels right. You learn as you go. It's all learning. Every time you get on, it's always a learning. Brilliant.
And no matter what the bike, you can adapt your style, you can build your skills, and fantastic. So it's great to see, you know, people getting into bike and sports bikes, because sports bikes are unfortunately a dying breed. So when people get into sports bikes, I'm like, that is fantastic. We need to keep them alive, right?
Oh yeah.
So is there anything else that you'd like to share about this bike, or, you know, how long do you plan on keeping the bike? Is this a forever bike? What's your thoughts?
Currently, I don't think it'll be my forever bike, only because I do at some point want to go bigger, but that'll be when I've honed my skills in to the point where it's like I'm ready for that kind of step. But I just want to make this one a bit more personal to me, maybe do a few changes in the future that I think once I've been riding it enough to be like, oh, actually I think I might want to change this or try something out, or do whatever I want to do to it, make it a little bit more mine. Other than that, I think I'll stick with this one for a while.
So what is on your radar? If you were to upgrade to a bigger bike now, what would you have in mind?
I really like the CBR 1000 Fireblades.
Nice.
I love them. I absolutely love them. But it was definitely.
I can
not
definitely
in the
agree
budget.
with that.
Yeah. Well. Yes. Obviously, I do like the BMWs as well, the S1Ks, but they've become a very Instagram stigma kind of bike now. So. But yeah, they are on my radar, but definitely not in the budget right now.
Brilliant. Yeah. Well, it is an absolutely beautiful bike, Alice, and thank you for taking the time to take part in this. And folks, if anybody else wants to take part in Heartbeats and Horsepower, just get in touch with me. I'd love to do as many different bikes as possible, as many different people as possible, and just showcase what the bikes are like from the perspective of the owners. But for now, Alice, thank you very much for your time, and stay safe and enjoy this beautiful ZX6.
It's been a pleasure.
Thank you.